Hey, everybody, Matt Barton here with this week's Broker Minute or Two. And unfortunately, the topic du jour is scams and fraud, which there never seems to be a shortage of. First, I want to talk about a current scam that's going around that I've talked about in a couple of sales meetings, but then also some practical steps we can take that make um, us a little more protected from potential frauds and scam. All right, so the first one of our agents up north had this. She's not the only one in the company that has had this, but what happens is somebody typically will call from out of state and say, I'm busy doing something. In this particular case, the gentleman explained that he was in California with his very ill, dying mother at the hospital. That's why he couldn't meet in person. That's flag number one, if you can't meet in person. Number two said, I have a lot to sell. This scam in particular is almost entirely focused on lots, and in particular, lots that do not currently have a loan on them. It makes the scam a little easier. And there's two ways that this monetizes. I'm going to really talk about the predominant way. What happens is a good agent is going to be like, oh, fantastic! I'd love to list your property, get all the details. You ask your dutiful questions, and say, great, I can get some list. They even go so far as to make the uh, the scam work. Say, well, I need a valuation on the property, right? And so if you came back and said, well, the value on that property is currently $500,000. A way this works a lot of times is they'll say, well, because of my mom's condition or because of financial hardship or whatever, we're willing to sell the $500,000 lot for, say, $450,000. But because we're selling it as a discount, we only want qualified buyers. All these things sound right, right? It sounds like a very responsible seller. And it's tugging at the heartstrings for the family situation. Excuse me. So you send over the paperwork, and one of the requirements from the alleged seller is if there's a qualified buyer, we want a good chunk of non-refundable earnest money due early and released to the seller early in the contract, since we're giving it up as a discount. Imagine how that works if you're the fraudster. You don't even have to close on the property to monetize it. Oh, there's $30,000 in non-refundable earnest money due within 7 days, and closing is 5 weeks out. Well, as you might imagine, they get the funds released to them, they cash the check, the wire, whatever, and they're on their way. And oh, there never really was a transaction, nor did they have the right to sell. Okay, so that's a pretty common one. So my flags for you is you don't meet them in person. There's some type of a crisis. They ask for the valuation. They're going to sell it at a lower price, and they're going to require a good chunk of earnest money. There's variations on that, but that's the most common that I have seen. If you get those or any multiple of those, it's probably a red flag, and you should be having a conversation with your broker or with myself. Okay, so another scam that's gone on for quite some time is when you list a property, then amazingly you get a call from somebody who says, okay, I'm ready to move into my rental. And you're like, you what? And what has happened is somebody saw that the property is for sale, and they put forth a scam on some classified ads like KSL and say, yeah, you just need to give us a security deposit in advance of $1,500, $2,000, whatever the case may be. So how do we help ourselves in situations like that where our legitimate listing is being used as the front end to a scam? I wanted to show you something so simple that sometimes people either don't know about it or just disregard it because it's so simple, but it's pretty dang effective. So this is what I want to show you. If you go to google.com/alerts, assuming you have a Google account through Gmail or whatever, you can go to a page that is dedicated to alerts that are specific to you. And you can see on my screen, I just have some on here for my home address, my name as a realtor, my website, a serial number, various things. I have other rental properties, and I'm kind of surprised I haven't entered in alerts on those yet, and I will do that at the tail end of this video. But once you put that alert in, then anytime there is, as the Google search engine crawls across the internet, if it finds that sequence, 1091 Valley Sage Drive, you get an alert. So you might imagine if you take a listing and if you just said, 123 Main Street or 456 State Street or however many listings you have, and then somebody posts that on KSL for a rental for a fraud scenario, you're going to be alerted like right away, and you can call your corresponding seller and or the police and snuff out the fraud before it ever gets any traction. We're the professionals. We should know the tricks of the trade like this so that our clients have way more trust in us and know that we're going above and beyond in protecting them. We have a fiduciary of reasonable care, and doing something like this adds to the narrative of us going above and beyond to protecting our clients. So I hope that's a useful tip for you this week. Hopefully you don't run across any frauds, but if they do select you as a target or your listing as a target of fraud, at least now you're going to know early in the game and you can snuff it out. Have a great week, and we'll talk soon.